Hello all, welcome to the session on Sketcher Constraint. At the end of this session, you can able to do geometrical constraints such as midpoint, equidistance point, fixed constraint, coincident constraint, concentricity constraint, then tangency, parallelism, then perpendicular, then horizontal constraint, vertical constraint, the another type of constraint which is dimensional or size constraint. As we seen earlier, this is the first group of constraint, which is geometrical constraint, and then second type is size constraint. In the size constraint, we have length, size, radius, diameter, angle constraint, semi-major constraint for ellipse, semi-minor constraint for ellipse, then contact constraint, which is a special advanced constraint and fixed together, then auto constraint. So let us see these options one by one. So moving back, geometrical constraint. So first option is midpoint. Select this start, mechanical, part design, topic name is Sketcher Constraint. Click on OK. Hide this plane. I'm going to introduce one axis system from insert group. Switch the current off button and then select here Sketcher Workbench. Click on Sketcher, click on any plane, click OK. The first option in it is a midpoint. If I create a profile, and if I create a line like this, now this point should lie at midpoint of this line. Then I select this first point entity by pressing Ctrl key, select another entity, then click on this geometrical constraint option from constraint toolbar. So this is the option. Click here. You will be finding midpoint option. Just click on it. It will be bring that point at center of this line. There is alternate way to achieve the same result, which is if I create a line on this side. Now I'm selecting this point, then select this line, click this dimensional constraint. So from here generally we are using the geometrical constraint tools, and here we are using size constraint tool. But inside size constraint also you can able to operate the geometrical constraint. How, that I will show you now. Just click the size constraint. Okay, you will be finding here dimensions. If you right click on it, then you will be finding the possible geometrical constraint. Now I required here midpoint. So by right clicking option you will get geometrical constraint, and by left click option you will get the size constraint if you use this option. So better to use this button always instead of this. Okay, next one is, so this is what about the midpoint constraint. So this build the geometric relationship. Whenever the size of length is adjusting or increasing, this line will be always keep the distance at midpoint of this line. Okay, so next constraint is equidistance point. So for equidistance point, just a minute, I'm going to create line like this. Select these 2 points, click this button. So this is the option actually, equidistance point. So if I use a point like this, now if I click this option equidistance point, then all point distance will be same dimensions. So that is equidistance point constraint. So that is applicable for point. If I create a point here, 1, then second point 2, and third point will be somewhere here. Now the spacing between each point I want to make it same. Then you press Ctrl key and select those points, then select here this constraint option, 1, 2. So that is not possible to operate from this size constraint option. You have to select all points first, then click on this uh, constraint. So here you are finding equidistance point tool. Okay, if I try to apply dimensions from this point, so the distance between each point becomes same. If you try to change this value to 4, other is also getting adjusted. You can see here this point to this point, it is also become 4. This is showing magenta color. That is because already we are applied the equidistance point constraint. So if you try to apply the dimensions, it become over constraint. Now you need to select this over constraint dimension and delete it. Next constraint, fixed constraint. So for fixed constraint, whatever the location of entity is there, and that current location, if you want to consider the constraint, or if you want to assume the constraint, then you can select these entities, click on this button and use the fix option. Or else you can select this dimensions, click here, right click on it, and here it is finding, you will be finding here fixed constraint. And now you can see that the line is getting locked. Only size is not there, that's why it is moving, but the geometric relation with respect to absolute axis is getting fixed. So fix is not recommended to use while creating these profiles. Next constraint is coincident constraint. So to operate the coincident constraint, I'm selecting these dimensions, click this line and select the point. If you right click here, and you will be finding coincidence tool. If you click on it, that will get collinear to each other. So between line and point you can make coincident, or else I'm going back using Ctrl Z. I did here undo. Now if you use two lines to make a coincidence by right click option, that is also okay. So going back, so if you select here line anywhere, okay, and now what I require, I want to make it coincidence relation with respect to this point and this point. Then hold right click here, you will be finding coincidence tool, so it is get connected. Next one is concentricity. Concentricity will be applicable for two arc or circles. So concentricity will be applicable between two arc or two circles. Let's suppose I'm creating here one circle. So see here, while creating any profile entity, automatically the blue lines appears. That is called a smart pick. I don't want to define the constraint automatically, so it is highlighting there. By default software will take here tangency relations. If you don't want such a smart picking, then you press the shift key and then you draw the profiles, so that unnecessary constraints will not be taken up. So select here arc. Now create another circle, press shift key and then draw the circle. Now between these two circles I need to make a relations concentric. So select this constraint, first circle, then second circle, then right click here, you will be finding here option concentricity. So these two circles are get concentric. So this symbol indicates it is a concentric relation. Okay, and this symbol circle with no fields entity, it is showing the coincident constraint. If you move this mouse there, it will be showing your message. It is a coincidence constraint and this is the concentric constraint. Okay, next constraint is tangency. So the tangency is applicable between circle and line. Okay, so to do that I'm just selecting here circle, press Ctrl key, select this line and then use this tool. You will be finding here tangency, or else you can select this dimensions, click this circle, click the line, uh, hold right click on it, mouse, then you will be finding here tangency relation. So this build the tangency relations. So whenever I move this entity, the tangency relation will not be break. So this symbol indicates the tangency constraint. The next one is a parallelism constraint. Now here I want this line that should be parallel to this line. Then I select this two entity. Just select the constraint first. Select this line. Select this line. It's showing the angle. Just right click and you will be finding here parallelism constraint. Now these two lines become parallel with each other. Again, if we create a line like this, now this line I want to make it perpendicular to this line. Then there is another constraint which is perpendicular. To create perpendicular relation, just select this constraint, click this line, select this line as well by pressing Ctrl key, hold a right click on it. You will be finding here perpendicular constraint. You can slightly move this circle. Now these symbols indicate the perpendicular constraint. Now again, if I draw line like this, now if we move to the next constraint type, which is horizontal. Now for horizontal constraint, just select this constraint dimension, hold right click just on this horizontal relation. We can slightly move this profile so that why this is not moving, that because that is fixed. Okay, you can see that. Another line, if I am drawing right like this, just draw the line. Now this line I require vertical. So to do that, just select this constraint, click this sketch, hold right click on vertical. You will be finding this vertical relations. So these are the various options for geometrical constraint. The another option is now regarding size constraint. We have two tools like length, radius, diameter. Let's see it one by one. So in geometrical constraint, we are applying the geometric relationship to each other so that the relations between the entity become maintained continuously. Okay, now after doing that as well, if you see here this fixed constraint, the line length is adjusting because it is not fixed. Length is not fixed. To do that, just click on the size, that is constraint, click on this entity, click left click here. By left clicking option, you can able to create the dimensional constraint. Now this is the 35 size I am assuming. Now after defining this size 35, this is get everything locked, but still it is moving because the position is not fixed. So what I will do, I apply the relations between the point, selected point here, and then absolute vertical axis, hold a right click there and make it relation coincidence. So this point will be aligned to this vertical line. So now you will see here this is completely locked. So the main purpose to define the constraint is to lock the sketch geometry or profiles. Okay, so if you're not constraining well, then geometric shapes can be geometry size can be changed. Okay, it not get fixed. So to lock all degrees of freedom of that planar entity, we have to constrain it. Okay, the next type of constraint is radius or diameter. So for to define the radius or diameter, just select the constraint, double click on it. Why I'm doing double click? Because the command will be run continuously. If you double click on it, the command will run continuously. If you select this diameter, it's showing the diameter value. Double click on it and then change the size. This I required here 24. Okay, and similarly, if there is an arc like this and select the dimension, so it will be showing the radius. Double click on it, the value become 26 I am considering. Okay, so to continuously on the command, you have to double click on it, and once the work is over, you can off by pressing the same command again. Okay, so just select and deselect. Similarly, if you click here dimension again, select this, so it will be showing diameter. Now you see the command is off because double click I am not created here. So what I will do, I just repeat this by deleting that. Double click on the constraint, click here. So this command is active already, and here it is a radius I record. The radius is already there, and if you try to apply the duplicate dimensions, one dimension is automatically considered as a reference dimension. Now here this value I'm changing it to 14. Now you will be seen here this constraint is size constraint is defined. Now still it is going to move, that is because the position is not get fixed. So to define the positions, just double click on this constraint from vertical absolute axis to this center point of circle. Once I apply the dimensions to 45, then this constraint is get locked, so this geometry will not able to move, and automatically your geometry colors change to green, which it means your geometry is fully constrained. White color entity showing geometry is not fully constrained. That status you can check it through sketch solving status tool. I'll just show you that. This is the tool. Okay, you can active that tool by right clicking option, that is tools toolbar here. This is one is that. Okay, just click on this button, that is sketch solving status. Click here. Now it will be showing that few constraints are not done properly. It's showing still under constraint. If you click on this analysis, sketch analysis option, it will be highlighting which constraint is not completed. That will be shown the status into under constraint. The constraint has happened, that is showing into ISO constraint. ISO constraint means fully constraint status. Okay, so before exiting the sketch, you have to always check that whether my sketch is fully constraint or ISO constraint or not. Okay, so this is what about the diameter dimensions and radius dimension. Next type of dimension, angle dimension or angle constraint. Let us see here. Now here, if I'm going to move this line, I don't want this. Now what I required, I need the angle between these two lines. So how I did this, just select how can I did created this. Just click on the constraint, just select the line, select the another line. Okay, it shows the angle constraint. Based on your selection of entities, software automatically choose whether it is angle, diameter, radius or length. So double click on it, and now I change this size to 68. Okay, one more time if you try to apply it the same thing, then it will be showing into bracket. If you right click on it, instead of angle, if you want to use geometrical constraint, then we are various other possible constraint is there. Okay, so that I don't want right now. I need an angle constraint. Okay, next constraint is a semi major axis, so that is applicable for ellipse. So let us open it. If I draw an ellipse here, by pressing shift key, so this is major axis I am creating, and this is minor, or you may take this is major. Okay, adjacent become minor then. So I require this is minor. Okay, so major point, minor point we have to define. After that we need to define here major major dimension and minor dimension. So you select this, so this is showing the major dimension. Hold a right click. So if you right click here, it is considering semi major axis, you can see that. Okay, so I'm just clicking over here, so this is major axis. Now I'm selecting here, hold a right click again. Now I require minor axis. Major minor dimensions we define here. This is 27, this is 15. Now you need to define the position to make it fully constrained. So you select this, With respect to absolute axis, this to this, I'm defining some positions. So this position is, I'm considering 52. After defining this position, another vertical position is also need to be defined from horizontal reference. Click over here, double click on this. This is 19. After that, click on this. Just allow me movement. Here you can see the select entity, then select this vertical entity. This angle is required. Okay, now your constraint for this ellipse is ISO constraint. Now it is changing into green color. So we required major axis, minor axis, its center position and angle to make it full ISO constraint to ellipse. So this is what about major axis and minor axis dimension. The next type is, this we already discussed. Another type is contact constraint. Let us see. If I create a profile like this, just go to drop down list. Sorry, not this one. Just select this first and then second, or right click. Contact is not showing, just a minute. Yes. Just active the drop down list. Yeah. Yes. So you will be finding this contact constraint. Click this circle and click this line. So it is again tangency constraint. Or either you can use tangency relation separately from this tool, or directly make it tangency through contact constraint. So both are options the same. Okay. So this is for tangency relationship. One more time, suppose if I create here circle like this, and then tangent relations, first circle then second circle, so it will be taken the tangency relations. One more time, I'm just explaining. Just select first circle then second circle, do it again. So because of size is not fixed, it is going to move. So what I will do is, here I will do that 1 and 2, so it is constraining. Okay, so let us see the next option. Next option is fixed together. If you want to constrain multiple entities at one time, then you can use fixed together constraint. Just expand the drop down list of constraint tool. Here you will be finding fixed together. So I'm taking this fixed together, first entity then second entity. Okay, click OK. Okay, I'll show you that example here. I'm selecting this fixed together, first entity and then second entity. So more than one entity you want to make it fix, then you can use this fixed together. Okay, if you try to move this, it is getting fixed. So whereas only fix, is applicable for single entity. This option is applicable for only single entity. So multiple entity at a time you want to make it fix, then use fix together tool. And then dimension is of course we require to define. Okay, if you try to define this dimension, so what is happening? It's showing the over constraint. Okay, only define the positions right now because it is moving. It is moving. Define position. This to absolute reference. Okay, and this center to center. Not necessary. Okay, so let's try where it is moving. So it is angularly move. So what we can do, we can define the angular constraint to it. So how I can do this? Select this line here, select okay, and now define an angle, or you make this line into horizontal reference. This is another constraint. Now it is moving vertically, so you define the vertical constraint from horizontal reference to this reference. Now it is getting fixed. So this value I am taking here 20. So multiple times I want to make multiple entities at a time you want to make it fix, then you can use fix together. The next type of constraint is, let's see here, auto constraint. So first I am just closing this file. Before closing, let us check the status here. ISO constraint is not it is happened or not. It is showing under constraint. So under constraint, how you will be finding it? Just click on it. Sketch analysis. These are the tools. Is not constraint. Okay. So you have to assume the constraint there. That we can use the option auto constraint. Just select this auto constraint button next to fix together. Click auto constraint. Select everything and just click on OK. So automatic by default system generated constraints apply to dimension. Now you check here, it is still under constraint. We need to find where it is under constraint. So this is the point where I need to right click here, click on reframe on. So here this location, the point is not constraint. So what we can do is I just I need to check. So this point, if it is not required, you can just delete this point, but it is not meaning. If you press Ctrl Z, you need to define the constraint to that. Okay, that's fine. I'm just defining the constraint, this to origin location. Okay, no issues. I'll keep as it is. So whenever you want to convert open entity or under constraint entity to constraint by system automatically, then use auto constraint. So I'm saving this file and exit from sketcher, exit workbench, Control S, and I'm storing this data over here in desktop or somewhere else location. Here I store it into desktop location. Save this file. Okay, now I'm closing this file. Click new file, mechanical designs. Then fourth number I want here auto constraint. Auto constraint tool. Click on OK. It displays. Right click here. Inserts access system. Current off. OK. Sketcher. Now I'm selecting here one profile. To clarify more about auto constraint, I'm creating one profile here, and at center circle there is, what I will do, I just create an by tangent line from this tool. Okay, now I just run this auto constraint. So click auto constraint, element to be constraint, that all elements along with position, horizontal and vertical. Okay, then click on OK. So software automatically give the constraint to it, and the status it will show ISO constraint. And later on, now what I will do, I just go to this drop down list, use mirror tool, I just remove entity. Okay, now this is that profile. You check the status, it is ISO constraint, and even this profile is geometry. If you check, it is a closed profile. So this is what about auto constraint. Now next type is animate constraint. So for animate constraint, I am going to create another profile, another file here, fifth number point, animate constraint. Here I will hide these planes, go to insert, axis system, current off. Now I'm selecting this gauge, take the front plane. For better visibility, I will hide this axis system. Okay, now let us suppose I created here a schematic diagram of piston and cylinder. So here I create one piston, this is crank revolution, here it is crank line, this is the connecting line. Now make it symmetric relation, 1 2, right click, make symmetry by right click here, allow symmetry line, so it will maintain the symmetric relation. After that what I will do, I'll just delete this line entity, and here I'm creating line like this. Now I'm trying to connect this line over this point. Now you see here, so these two lines become equal that are required. So I just click this both the lines, sorry, right click here and give the relation to equal entity. So it's not there. Okay, fine. So you define this size here, let's suppose it is 95, and this is also I want to make it 95. All right, and this line connect over here, coincident. Okay, now what I required, I just define this radius or diameter of this circle to 80, and create one reference line. Okay, so I make this line into reference, just click this construction entity on, define an angle there. This angle I'm taking 30°. Okay, and I give this 2 dimension of this connecting rod. Okay, and now define the position from horizontal reference to this point. Once you define this become, I'm taking 190. Once you define this, everything is fully constrained, that is ISO constraint. Now what is my requirement here? If I give the variations to this angle, I want to check what will be the effect for other constraints. Then you can use this tool, which is animate constraint, just after the constraint tool. So here it is that this animate constraint just after auto constraint. Animate constraint, we want to do animation for this 30-degree angle, and I want to start animation from 0 value to 0 value to, we'll take here 360, and then you can hide the constraint for visibility, better display, or you can on it, and then you play this moment. So you see is the um, animation is playing. So now I'm changing the number of steps to 50 so that motion becomes smooth. You can see that. Okay, you can hide the constraint and check this. The one time movement. If you want to move continuously, just use this tool. Play continuously, repeat mode, click here. If you want to make it reverse direction, then use this tool and play it. Going to play continuously. So it is counting 0 to 360 degree. If you do reverse angle 360 to 0, so that rotation will be reversed. So let us see here. If it is 360 to 0 degree, now you play, change it. We can on this display. So basic reason, basic application of this animation constraint is we want to check after simulating one size what will be the effect for other relations, that we can do it here. And another schematic animations or mechanism you can run through this animate constraint. And then now I'm closing this button. Okay, save this file, exit the sketch or workbench, then save this file, Control S, save. Okay, yeah. The next one, edit multi constraint. So for editing multi, I'm opening this previous created profile. Now what I required, I want to change the size of this component or profile. If I try to change the value to 50, so entire shape is get disturbed. So instead of doing this, what I will do here is I want to change the size simultaneously. This value I'm taking here, suppose 100, which is not possible. Entire shape is getting disturbed. So to avoid this, what I will do, I use edit multi constraint tool. So in the edit multi constraint, you have to select this dimension one by one. This angle I required here 20 degree. This angle I required again 25 degree. This radius, okay, in the edit multi constraint or dimensions, always it will be considered radius parameter. Diameter will not be considered. Okay, even though if it is showing diameter, still by default it is taken the radius value. So always put here radius value, whether it is diameter or it can be arc. So the radius value I have to put it. Now this value I'm taking here 2.5. This radius value I required to let's say it is 15. This radius value, this is very small, I'm taking to 4, and here instead of 6 I'm taking 15. So this color is highlighting. This value again it is 4. So you put this values there and just click preview. So and now click on OK. Now entire shape will change simultaneously. Okay, now if you delete this, okay, so instead of this angle, what I required here, I required the center to center distance, and that distance I'm considering here 100. Even I don't want to use this angle, delete this and give the relation equal symmetric. So you select this, right click here, allow symmetry line, then click here. Okay. Now again you can go back to this, and instead of radius 4, I can change value to radius 10 here, and this is also a change value to 10 here, then preview, then click on OK. So it is showing. Again, I just go to this. So instead of changing the size from single entity, I am using this dialog box. All parameters at a time you can able to change. This value I am taking here 30. Just preview this. Okay. So using this option, there is less chance to disturb the geometry. Okay. So we can maintain the proportionality while defining the size change. Okay. So always recommended proportionally to use this edit multi constraint. Okay. So we will stop here. Thank you for attending this session. We will see you into the next session.